Good morning, class. My name is Segun. I'm here to explain the concept of economics to you and make you understand the every aspect of economics and what it entails for you to write your exam and pass it very well. So the first aspect of it is the introductory aspect of it. That's the introduction of the economics. What is economics? People always say it using the normal definition, which is the economics is a social science that studies human behavior with relationships between ends and scarcity, which have alternative uses. Fine, that's a general definition of it, but we have to break it down. What economics is all about. Economics is a social science in what sense? Economics doesn't go to lab. They don't have a specific science lab that we have to use one animal to test and run tests on it. But we study, we look at the behavior of human being. Behavior. How does human behavior in nature, how would they react if there is any changes in a particular thing? The scarcity, the resources we have, how do you minimize it? How do you maximize the best usage of it? You minimize the cost in order to get the maximum profit from it or benefit from it. There is scarcity of resources and your needs or your wants are unlimited. You have plenty things you are in need of, but you don't have the resources. How do you achieve that? How do you find a way to say, okay, these total resources that I have, I need to minimize it in order to get the best thing? You have 1,000 naira. That's the resources that you have. That's the money that you have. This money that you have now, you have to utilize it. Fine. You have 10 things to buy in the market, but the resources is not enough. The money you have is not enough for you to buy those stuff. So what you do is that to say, okay, let me buy this, let me buy that, let me buy this, and leave the remaining one. You are doing economics at that point, but you don't know. So economics is a social science concerned with the production, distribution, consumption of goods and services. How do we produce goods with the resources that we have? How do we minimize these resources in order to get the best use out of it? That's economics for you. So at that point, you are practicing economics. How do we distribute goods to the market at a minimal cost? You want to allocate your resources to the market, to the buyers. You have to allocate them, those production, those things that you did, those things that you produce, the goods and services. So you have to find your customer in the market. Where is the market? Where are they going to buy these goods? So how do I allocate it? How do I transport these goods to the market? For them to buy the goods in the market, that is the distribution of it. So you find a way to minimize the cost on it. You are doing economics. Consumption of goods and services. How the consumers, are they going to take the goods? So you have to study them. That's the behavior. How does the consumer react to the goods you are producing? Are they going to consume it? Are you wasting resources on it? If yes, you have to stop. That's economics. That's the consumption of goods and services. It studies how individuals, businesses, governments, and nations make choices about how to allocate resources. The money you have, that is your resources. That's the resources we have. We are talking about the nation. The resources they have is the natural resources, the tax they are making. They are making money from cars. They are selling crude oil like Nigeria. That's the resources. How do we utilize these resources that we have? That is economics. That's the study of economics. So let's move on. So we are still on the concept of the economics. Defining economics, people can define in different ways using different terminology to define it. But the major aspect of it, what has to be there is the scarcity and the choice. Now you have scarcity. The resources, you have unlimited resource, unlimited wants, but the resources you have is limited, so it's scarce. So the scarcity aspect of it, that means you have to find a way to minimize, to make use of the resources you have very well. So you have to make the best choice because your want is unlimited. So what you need, the resources is not enough to acquire those stuff. So you have to find a way to do your scale of preference and now select. You choose the best one out of it. So economy is the study of how humans make decision on the face of scarcity. That's just it. How does human make decision when there is no resources? When there is scarcity of it, the little resources you have to make decision on it. That is economics. So that's everything about economics. So every other aspect of it is to explain it further. So what is choice? Choice can be defined as a system of selecting, choosing one out of a number of alternatives. You have to choose one. You have plenty things to buy, unlimited wants. You have to choose what the resources you have, what can it buy? The money you have, what can it buy in the market? So you go ahead and pick what that money can buy in the market by going to the market and say, okay, let me buy 2 of my shoes, 2 exercise book, or 1 cap. So at that point, you are choosing, you are selecting. You are selecting out of the limited or unlimited wants that you have. And you are making use of your resources as a scale, as a target for you to decide on either to buy this or not. Human wants are many, they are unlimited, and we cannot satisfy all of them because of our limited resources. That's why you go back home and tell mom, dad, I need this, I want to buy this, I want to buy that, I want to buy this. They will look at you. Mom will tell you, fine, no problem, let's buy this one. We can buy the other one later. That's what we are talking about. That's the scarcity. That's the resources they are trying to minimize in order to get the maximum result from it. At that point, mommy and daddy are practicing economics, but they don't know. You yourself, you don't even know. But that's what they are doing. But they have to select from the available resources that they have. Choice refers to the ability of a consumer or producer to decide which good, service, or resources to purchase or provide for a range of possible options. The goods, which one do I need to buy? Which one is very good? Which one is very important for me to buy? I have to go for that one. That's the choice. You are choosing from it, from what is available, the range of goods that you have. You have to select the best one that are very important for you now. What you actually need now. That's your need. Because you can't achieve the whole want. That's the concept of the choice. We can move on to another concept. Opportunity cost. What do you mean by opportunity cost? Opportunity cost is also known as the real cost or time cost, because you can measure the opportunity cost from the real benefit aspect of it or the timing. You can give out your resources with the timing aspect of it. That's one aspect of the opportunity cost. So we can as well look at the opportunity cost from another perspective, which is the major one that concerns you for this. The concept of opportunity cost is used in economics to express cost in terms of foregone, or sacrificed alternatives. Opportunity cost. Now, you have 5 things to buy in the market, and each of them has their own benefits that you are going to get from it. You buying cap, you buying slippers, you buying clothes. All of them, they have different benefits that you are going to get from it. But if you've decided to go and buy just the shoe, leaving the cap, the benefit you are going to get from buying the cap is the opportunity cost for not buying the cap and buying the shoe. The shoe that you bought has its own advantage. That's the benefit you are going to get from that shoe. But the alternative forgone, the goods that you forgo in order to go for that particular goods, is your alternative opportunity cost. Because you are not happy for not buying the cap. It's a cost to you. Because the satisfaction you are getting, you're supposed to get from it, now you are trading it off. It's a cost because it's going to pay you. It's going to pay you. For example, let's assume you have to buy biro, book, textbook. So what your money can buy now is just the biro and the exercise book. So the textbook that you're supposed to buy and use for your exam or in the classroom, there's no money for you to buy that one, and you bought just the biro and exercise book. If others are using the textbook in the classroom and you are not using it, and you are now finding a way to just borrow or to say, okay, let me sit beside it to make use of it, you're supposed to get the benefit for buying the textbook and read it in the classroom as well as at home. So now this person now that you are sharing with, you are not happy. That's the cost you are giving out. You are not happy for sharing this textbook with the person. Despite the fact that you are just finding a way to make use of it like that, fine, you're not still happy with it. That's the opportunity cost for you. If you now say, okay, Mr. A, please borrow me the textbook. So, and you want to make use of it at home. This person that is giving the textbook to you might tell you that, okay, you have to pay 20 naira for getting the textbook for just 2 days. So if you pay the 20 naira for that person, that's the opportunity cost, that's the cost you are incurring for buying others or other products, not buying this particular textbook. That's what we call opportunity cost. Opportunity cost means the alternative forgone or sacrifice made in order to satisfy another want. The sacrifice you made in order to sacrifice another want. You are sacrificing the textbook in order to get the exercise book and the biro. That's the opportunity cost. It is the satisfaction of one's want at the expense of another want. So you are getting a satisfaction from one, and you are expensing, you are at the expense of the other one, you are trading off the other one for it. So let's move on to another concept, which is also the key concept in economics, which is talking about the scarcity in economics. But before we move further, I don't know if anybody have a question to ask as regards what we discussed about now. Any question?
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm with you, bro.
Yeah, you said opportunity cost is the alternate forgone.
Yes.
So what of the particular one we use the money to get? What can we call that? Is there any term
That's
to
just
tag that?
no, that's the satisfaction. That's the goods that you are buying with the available resources, which can as well call as your choice. Is your choice.
Right?
Is what to say. Yes.
Okay, all right, sir.
So the choice you make is what your money can buy. That's your own choice. So another person, that doesn't mean that your own choice will be the general one. Another person can decide to go and pick the textbook, but the person prefer the textbook to the biro and the exercise book. So that's the person's choice. And at that point, the person's opportunity cost will now be the biro and the exercise book. But that's what the person is forgoing in order to get the textbook. Is that fine?
Yes, sir. That's okay, sir.
Okay. Let's move on to scarcity in economics. Scarcity. Whenever you hear scarcity, something that is scarce, that's just the layman language. That means the unlimited, the limited resources that we have to buy unlimited wants. Because our resources are limited. If you have unlimited resources, that means you can do and undo. But now, Almighty God did not give us the power to have unlimited resources. So because of that, we have scarcity. That's it. Scarcity in economics refers to when the demand for a resource is greater than the supply of that resources, as resources are limited. When the demand for a resources is greater than the supply of that resources. When many people are demanding for the resources, many people need that resources. Thousands of people need money. You need money to buy this. Like father or parents that has, let's say, 4 children. All of them are demanding for money. And what the parents ask is just, they have is just, let's say, 10,000 naira. And each of these children are demanding for 5,000 naira. The demand is greater than the supply of that resources. That means those people demanding for it, they are more than the person that's willing or ready to supply the resources, which is the father or the mother, that are willing to supply the resources. What they have is just 10,000 naira, and what you guys are demanding for is 20,000 naira, 5,000 naira each. So in that situation, the demand is greater than the supply, as resources are limited. Because we have limited resources, that's the scarcity. Scarcity results in consumers having to make decisions on how best to allocate resources in order to satisfy all basic needs and as many wants as possible. So at that point, you have to find a way to allocate your resources in order to satisfy all basic needs. That means those children that need 5,000 naira each, what you can do to them is that to say, okay, A, I think your own is very important now. B, your own is more important as well. So let's just settle Mr. A and B's own. Then we can move on to C and D next week, because their own, you can still postpone it. Or we can even call the teacher and explain it to the teacher, and they will understand. But for Mr. A and Mr. B's, they don't understand. They don't want to understand. So at that point, you are trying to allocate resources in order to satisfy all basic needs. So that's the concept of the scarcity. So demand is greater than supply. That's the key point in it. So we can move on to the scale of preference. The scale of preference, we'll be talking about, okay, you select, you leave others, you do this, so you are selecting, you are making choice, and you are leaving others, that's the opportunity cost. So how will you know the product to select? Are you just going to select it randomly? No. You have to think about the best product to pick, the best one to select from. So in a situation whereby there is scarcity of resources. You don't have enough resources. So you have to rank it. Which one is more important? Which one do I have to pay for? Which one do I, what do I have to do first? That's the scarcity. That's the scale of preference. So scale of preference is simply a concept that drives to satisfy the wants of an individual in the order of their priority and importance. That's the key point. In the order of their priority and importance. You have shoe. Let's continue. So the most important aspect of it is the in the individual, which one is very important. To A is different from B. So how important are they? You have to range it from the A, B, C down to E. So then you now pick the first one and say, okay, my resources can buy this, you buy that one. Then pick the second one and say, my resources can buy this one, to buy that one. That's the scale of preference. How important they are, you preference it by ranking it. Scale of preference is a common economic term that refers to the importance that an individual places on certain needs and wants. How important the individual places the certain wants and needs. So what you need is different from mine. What you are thinking that is the best for you might not be the best for me. So that's my own scale of preference and that's yours. So scale of preference, let's look at this. We need items needed: shoe, shirt, cap, fan, stove, pressing iron. Those are these things that you needed to buy. So all this, each of them has its own cost implication. Cost attached to shoe is different from shirt, it is different from cap, it's different from pressing iron, it's different from fan, it's different from stove. So you have to arrange it, how important they are to you. Let's assume this is my own scale of preference. Shoe is the first thing. My shirt, I have to consider it. Cap. So after buying shirt, cap, I need to pressing iron because I want it to look good. So can I pick that one? Then the fan, I need fan, I need to sleep very well. Well, that one is once in a while, it's not compulsory. I get fan. Stove, well, it's not compulsory, I get stove. I can borrow my mom's stove. So I have to rank it. But my shoe is very important to me. I need to buy a shoe. Then my shirt. Then my cap. At this point, the money I have might just be like 4,000 naira. So if it is 4,000 naira, I have to buy shoes, buy shirts, buy cap, and stop at the pressing iron. So that's my own scale of preference. Your own scale of preference might be from cap, shirt, shoes, pressing iron. So it doesn't matter. Under examination condition, they are going to give you series of goods that you needed with just a small resources. So you arrange it based on your own scale of preference. It doesn't matter how you arrange it, but you arrange it in such a way that what you are picking should not exist the available resources in order to buy the resources. So the importances of scale of preference, how important they are, the importance of you having your scale of preference. First, just have to ranking of needs. It makes you to rank your needs. To say, okay, this one is very important, this one is very important, this one is very important. Then you cannot talk about the financial prudency. Financial prudency, it makes you to think very well, to utilize your resources, your financial, your money very well in order to decide on which one to buy. That's the financial prudency of it. Then you talk about the identification of highest priority, which one is far, far, far higher, very important to you. Or more, my shoe is very important to me. So you go for it. Rational choice. You have to be rational. As an individual, you need to be rational in your decision and know what you are facing and what you are doing. So that's the rational decision aspect of it. Efficiency utilization of limited resources. That will make you to utilize the resources you have, the money you have efficiently, effectively. Efficiently in utilization of the resources, it entails you to get the maximum benefit from it. That's when you are efficiently utilizing the resources. If not, like I just gonna pick the 5,000, the 4,000 naira, I just gonna buy the stove or buy the fan. I'm not be suffering from the shoes, shirt, cap, all those ones, and they are very important. Optimal allocation of resources, the best optimal allocation of resources. It ensures the best allocation of resources. You buy the best thing, you allocate it to the best products that are very important to you. So let's move on to maximization of satisfaction. You get the maximum satisfaction from it, from the resources that you have. The satisfaction will be super. The utility, the satisfaction you are getting will be the best maximum, but it will be the maximum at the minimum cost. The last part of it is the production possibility curve. In economies, what is the production possibility curve? Production possibility curve in economies measures the maximum output of two goods using a fixed amount of input. Production possibility curve is a curve that is showing the two goods you can produce or buy with the resources. That's all. Two goods is a curve. They call it curve. Two goods, goods A and goods B, that you can buy with the fixed amount of input that you have. That means the input you are talking about is the resources, the money you have. What those two goods, what the money can buy with those two goods. So that's the production possibility curve. We use it to scale the production of goods and services. In economics, the production possibility curve is a visualization that demonstrates the most efficient production of a pair of goods. Each point on the curve shows how much of each good will be produced when resources shift to making more of our good and less of another. The curve you are seeing is going to be giving different points. So the goods that I can produce at this point is going to show for A and B, goods on another one, A and B. So there's no time of just show the graph and work on it. Thank you for participating. See you next time.
Any question?
Do you have any question for me?
Hello, sir.
I'm with you.
Yeah, when the demand is more than the supply, that is regarded to be scarcity, right?
Yes, yes.
What
That's the
of the
situation
opposite?
when the okay, right then.
What of the opposite when the supply is more than the demand? What can we call that in economics?
We have excess demand, we have excess supply. When there is excess of resources, when you have excess of resources, but at this level, we can't discuss about that aspect. But when you have excess of resources, that's when the supply is going to be greater than the demand. In that situation, the country or the economy might be facing a problem of deficit. That means economic crisis. At that point, when they are facing the economic crisis, people will be producing goods. They have resources, they will produce, but they will not see people that will buy it. They will not see the buyers. At that point, government will implement law, but the law will not be effective. It's only occurred when there is crisis. That's when you have a supplier, supply will be greater than the demand. Is that okay by you? Hello. Any other question? At this point, we can end the lecture now. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.